Welcome to the next breakthrough with Sean Campbell. My guest today is Dane Gulati from Rogers Fashion, based in Bangkok. He is part of a family business, three generations, and there's a lot of legacy there. But he's also quite innovative. So I'm looking forward to having a chat with Dane today. Welcome, Dane.
Thank you very much, Sean. Very happy to be here and excited for our little chat coming up.
Would love if you can introduce yourself to the audience here and tell us a little bit about Rogers Fashion and your role in it.
Sure. My name is Dane Gulati, and I'm the third generation of family-run bespoke tailors in Bangkok, Thailand. So my grandfather started the business 61 years ago. So this year we celebrate 61 years in 1964 during the Vietnam War. And we were based in Ubon Ratchathani, and then we moved to Udon and then to Bangkok. Being a family-run business, my dad made me come work at the store every Saturday, and he would bribe me by saying, "Hey, you know what? I'll take you to your favorite restaurant. Just come in for a couple hours and then close up shop, and then we'll head out." So I was born and bred into the business. Every summer, I would intern uh, for 1 month at a hotel or architecture firm, a design firm, and then 1 month at Rajas. So it's basically instilled in me. Being the third generation, I am privileged. I'm blessed, but at the same time, it is a challenge, but something that I take pride on and excited to share my experience with you guys.
Well, thank you so much for being here. It's quite the legacy, right? 61. I mean, that's an incredible legacy to have that much time to be servicing customers you're obviously doing something right. I remember when I was younger, my father, he ran a business in the US and it was part of the idea that potentially it might be a family business. He was an auto mechanic. I quickly realized after spending my, 1 month summers or 2 month summers working there that wasn't for me. He understood that, and he accepted that I wanted to do. Just, I understand, going into someone else's, business that they've built and trying to understand what you can change as being part of, bringing in new ideas, but at the same time, you
Mhm.
have founders typically have a very strong vision on what they want.
Of course.
What's a tradition or values that you make sure stay intact while at the same time adapting to more modern times than 1960s?
Of course. Well, at the end of the day, as you said, a family-run business is something that is very nice, but it's not for everyone. We're seeing more and more that people want to do their own thing, right? Rubbing shoulders with, in this case, three generations or two additional generations for me was a transition. When I joined the business full-time 10 years ago, it was a difficult adjustment, but something that I was very excited for. And luckily, having my grandfather that started the business 61 years ago, he is a young soul, right? Even though he's an older gentleman, he was ready to embrace change. But with that being said, I had to make sure I did my due diligence and I trained long enough to understand the backbone and how everything works, from ordering the fabric to the buttons to the linings to the working with the tailors, working with clients and the QC and all the nitty gritty. What a lot of our clients see is from the front end is always fun and always unique, but on the back end, it's a lot more work than you see. And it's something that was a little bit difficult, but the good thing was when I joined 10 years ago, my father was the guy who said, you know what, this is going to be your baby in the future. So you're going to want to make changes, but you got to slow and steady. And everything we do, we involve grandpa in because he's the one who started it all. And, we cannot let go of his contribution to the business and what basically the brand stands for. So his name is Raja Gulati. So the business is named after him. So no matter what, we always kept Grandpa involved in every decision we made. It took me a good 2 or 3 years to really understand the business before I was able to be like, hey, you know what? I'm going to do things this way, this way, this way. Uh, Luckily, again, everyone was willing to do it. First thing I changed was the website. Our website was very dated. It was not a fully e-commerce website, so that was the number one thing off my to-do list. Number two was to develop a system or a database where allows me to access it anywhere in the world at any given time. And that has led to great benefits because now we do trunk shows where we travel around the world and we meet clients. Um, and with that, that allows me to take an order real time. And back home in Bangkok, dad can open it up and see what I've been doing, as well as when I'm asleep abroad after I've taken the order, the next day when it's morning here, they can start cutting the fabrics and checking the work. So it allows things to become a lot more seamless and a lot more clear cut. It allows us to take photos and images and videos of clients during things to keep that information on file so we can replicate the fit without them being actually here for the fitting itself.
You studied in the US and lived overseas. I think you're
Yes,
in
sir.
Florida for quite a long time. Are you
Correct.
bringing some
So
of those
I
lessons from your experience living overseas that you brought, back to Southeast Asia? Is that where you thought about the idea that you saw a need for a new website? You saw a need for, a more streamlined ordering process? Or where did that innovation kinda
so
come from?
the funny thing is everything we do in terms of innovation for the back end as well as the front end all stems from what I'm looking for and what I need, right? I'm looking at myself as a consumer and I say, hey, you know what? Why do we only do formal wear? I want to get casual wear made too. Like, why do I have to only make my formal stuff and then go shopping elsewhere? Like, I personally am not a fan of shopping. I really don't like shopping because things are very standardized and there's not much customizations you can do to it. So for me, I look at it as a customer base point for myself, right? For me, I hate being sold to. So for us, we never send emails to clients like, hey, we're running this promotion, this and that, this and that. I hate receiving emails from all these companies and brands, even though I do like and enjoy their clothes. I don't like pushing and being sold to all the time. So that's something that I made sure not to fall into. It's something that dad, my father Bobby, the second generation Rajas, keeps telling me like, hey, you know what, we should do this, we should do this. But at the end of the day, is I want to do it in a way that I feel is organic and is providing more of a selling point to the client rather than be like, hey, we got this, we got this, we got this. So like the fabrics that the new fabrics we're doing, the new styles we're doing, it all stems from me. I actually get the fabric, I test the fabric, I make something for myself which I want to wear. I test the product, make sure it satisfies my needs, and then I will start selling it to our clients. We would not do anything where we start without testing the fabric and the fit and the fade and the shrinkage and all that stuff. So that's something that's very big to me. It takes a little bit longer, but it allows us to be a little bit more consistent and also offer a better value to our end consumers. It's just traveling the world, seeing what's new here, what style works, what style doesn't work. So when I joined the business, my first year at business, my father sent me or allowed me to travel to Italy for a fashion fair called Pitti Uomo, and it's every year, once a year. It's a
This is a
summer.
premier event in the industry.
Correct. So it's more for people who know about fabric and styles and different Italian brands, as well as other brands around the world, and where they showcase basically next year's collection this year. And the fair was a 3-day event. I ended up flying out of Bangkok. I went for 2 days and I flew right back. So it was no time for leisure. It was just straight to the point of learning as much as I could in the short period of time that I had. It really opened up my eyes to see what more there is out there rather than just what sells in the store at that point, as well as what we've always known. And I think that was the biggest blessing in disguise for me because it allowed me a lot more freedom and also independence of, hey, I was the one who went here and I was the one who saw these things. So I got to execute it the way I see fit rather than leaning on the elders, obviously having them being my support system, teaching me the ways of how I could do better and make changes, really benefits me. But at the same time, it allows me to kind of establish my own way of working as well as my own personal brand.
There's something about having a bespoke tailored suit that gives you a certain amount of confidence. You deal with a lot of diplomats, ambassadors, I think I've seen presidents on the wall there at your store.
Yeah, in
Um,
61 years, it's a lot of history. It's something that we don't take for granted for sure. That's why it comes back to, not selling every time to our clients. It's about maintaining a professional and a personal relationship. Mm, And it's all about being genuine. The one core value that grandpa and dad have taught me is once you lose your reputation, there's no going back. So number one thing is everything we do is very transparent. Everything we do is to give the client what he wants rather than sell them what we, for example, something that has been around for a long time, we can't sell it to push that onto the client, or we made a mistake and we're going to be like, you know what, this is what it actually looks good this way. That's not how we work. For us, integrity is very, very important. It's very key. That's something I don't take lightly. And that's one thing that is always going to stick with us as a business and as a brand and as a
It's
family.
building that trust over time, right? When you visit Bangkok or you go to Hong Kong, you see lots of tailor shops everywhere, and it's
Correct.
very
Correct.
hard for someone who's quite uneducated around it, which
Hmm.
ones are better and which ones
Hmm.
are, maybe using a lesser fabric or taking shortcuts. So, how do you explain, what Raja's Fashions does differently than other tailors out there? Whether it's the material, the supply, your customer relationship, like what makes you guys stand out from the rest?
So at the end of the day, it comes back to the integrity part. We are not the cheapest, but we're not the most expensive. We believe in value for money. So the price that you pay is going to be the price that you're going to be happy with the service, with the experience, and with the product itself. There are many, many tailors. If you walk outside every block, you will see at least two or three, if not more. So when it comes to educating the client, it all comes to, it's like walk into a wine store and be like, can I get a bottle of wine? You can get a $3 bottle of wine, you can get a $300 bottle of wine, or a $3,000 bottle of wine. At the end of the day, they're all going to get you somewhat buzzed, if not drunk. They're all going to taste a little bit differently. On the outside, it still looks the same. And then the number four is the hangover is going to be significantly different. For us, our part is to, again, be transparent with the client and tell them, hey, this is the fabric that you're getting. So, for example, we have a fabric that says Super 180s Italian wool cashmere, but is actually milled in China, right? So we will tell them, hey, this fabric, even though it says it here, is not actually Italian. It's going to be, whether it be 90% wool, 10% blend, or whatever it may be, for us to really communicate to the client that, hey, this is what is the fabric you're getting. This is the pro and the con of the fabric. Not every fabric is right for every person. It all depends on needs and wants. So if you live in climate like Bangkok where it's quite warm, you want to lean more towards natural fabrics because that's going to keep you the most breathable and the most coolest. But at the same time, if you tell me, hey, I travel all the time, I want something a little bit sturdier, maybe a not 100% wool may not be the best. Maybe you want to go for a little bit of a blend, or maybe a wool with linen or wool with silk or something along those lines to give you a little bit better for the wear and tear. All of our fabrics or all of our suits, if you get the cheapest or the most expensive, everything is equal across the board. The buttons, the linings, the design, the fitting, everything is exactly the same. What is going to be different is the fabric itself, which is what determines the price point, right? For us, we don't use any plastic buttons. We use natural horn buttons or natural mother of pearl buttons. So this is another part of giving you better quality for your money. A lot of tailors would cut corners and be like, "Hey, this is 100% wool, Italian cashmere," even though it's not. They'll put plastic buttons on your suits. So it's all these small details that come into play with what actually you are getting and what you're investing your money into. At the end of the day, is we want to give people a product that they're going to enjoy. And the one thing people don't realize is when it's custom made, the more you wear it, the better it will fit, because we use a horsehair canvassing on the inside of the chest piece, which molds to your shoulders and your chest as you wear it. So people don't realize is it's different than off the rack, because when off the rack you wear it and it's built for someone else or a standard physique. When it gets to custom made, a lot of people don't cherish it as much because they think it's unaffordable, it's unattainable. But in today's day and age, there's such a big, vast range of brands and tailors around the world that you know you are getting value for your money. A lot of times we'll look at it as, oh, it's too, number one is monetary, it's too expensive. Number two is I don't have the time. There's always ways to work around that, right? We don't keep fabrics that we ourselves wouldn't wear in the store. So everything we have in the store ourselves, we would wear ourselves. So what you're getting is something that we would wear. It all comes to the trust in the relationship. We don't believe in selling to a client one time and then letting them walk away and then never seeing them again. We always want to build relationships. We build long-standing relationships that go generationally too as well. For example, we have grandfathers that have worked with grandpa, fathers that work with dad, and the sons that have worked with me now. We literally have clients that have worked with us for 60 plus years. in the family, passing generation to generation. And it becomes a staple in their wardrobe.
I initially discovered you when I was living in Bangkok. I tried several tailors,
Yes, sir.
admittedly, gone around and had a few sport
Hmm.
coats and suits, and I
Hmm.
think the thing that stood out to me with you and Raja's fashions is the attention to detail. So, coming into the store and the customer experience, you feel like you're being made welcome, like you're greeting a friend, right? It's like bring them in, offer them a drink, have them sit down. You were not pushy or not yourself or any of the staff pushing me
Correct.
to make a purchase that I wasn't comfortable with. You spent the time with the customer. You really did a lot of the education. So when somebody comes in, they don't know the difference between why this fabric is better than the other or why it's better for this climate
Correct.
versus another. So you really did
Correct.
take the time to explain the process. The customer experience that you offer is quite unique. There's a lot of tailors, whether it's been in I see it a lot in Thailand, you'll be walking down the road and there's tailor shops everywhere, and they will literally almost physically assault you to get you in. That's not the first intention, the first experience you wanna feel as a customer, that you're
Correct.
being almost like pushed to buy something that you're not even looking for. Discovering you was part of it, is
Hmm.
coming into the shop and saying, "Okay, I really don't know what I want, but I know I need
Hmm.
a suit. I know I need to
Hmm.
upgrade my wardrobe, and I need to, find some fitted shirts." I'm actually
Hmm.
wearing one of yours right now. Um, and I think, the experience of being treated as a guest in your location and going through the education and
Hmm.
understanding and learning who you are and having a chat, when I was there to have a
So
chat with your grandpa. So
exactly.
I think
So
it's really
so
nice to see all 3 of you, working there and giving the customers the attention.
So us, we believe in educating the client because sometimes when people walk in with ideas or certain styles or certain fabrics in mind, it may not actually be in line with what they need or what they want, right? So for us, it's to ask you a bunch of questions that allows us to have a better understanding into your daily life, what you're going to be using it in, what kind of climate you're in, as well as what your preferences are. And what that allows us to do is to kind of streamline the process and make recommendations to you and educate you on the differences of fabrics and styles, what suits certain needs, what suits certain occasions, and then give you the right feedback. At the end of the day, you have the final say, but we're not just going to be like, oh, you want a black suit? This is this, boom, 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 and get you out the door. It's all about the experience. It's about the education. It's about the understanding and having that back and forth interaction, because getting a custom made suit is an experience. This is one thing that I hold highly to myself, is that it's an experience. I always say this thing is you have to be fully honest, and you can never cheat on a few professions in your life. Your doctor, your lawyer, your barber, and your tailor. Those are four professions that men should always be honest and truthful to, whatever it may be, because they are going to give you the advice and the look and the feel that you want. Because if you tell your lawyer one thing and it's not the truth, he may not be able to do his job to the fullest and what you're paying him for. Same thing with the tailor. If you don't tell them your needs and your wants and what you actually have, whether it be, you're more budget conscious, or if you're more weather conscious, or whatever it may be, you need to be vocal to us about that. And that's for us to ask you these questions. So if you walk into a store and be like, hey, I want this, and if you're not getting your question, or if you're not being asked any questions, then I would say, it's a quick sale at the end of the day. We don't have salesmen. We don't have anyone in the store apart from my grandfather, my dad, myself, and my aunt. So it's four of us. It's all family. We don't work on commission basis. We don't work on pushing, a certain fabric or a price on you. It's all literally one for one, you for you. And that's something that we pride ourselves with. Our level of service, I personally feel, is one of the best you can get. I mean, I'm going to go out and say this, but worldwide, right? Something when you work with us, or especially me, it's something that I love, and I don't want to cut any corners. I pride myself with that personally, and I've seen a lot of clients who share that experience with me, and I'm very happy to hear about that. It's something that I always try to improve on, but it's something that is getting more and more difficult to improve on, because I feel that what we're doing is already very, very good. But something always in the back of my mind, if I can improve on something, we're gonna do. We're gonna make it happen.
there is an intense focus on the customer experience. I think going
Yes, sir.
through having your first custom-made suit done, it is an experience coming for the fittings and, having the measurements done manually and that
Correct.
expert eye.
And
I wanna
also,
turn to
having a
technology. Sorry?
sorry, one last thing. After, walking in the streets of Bangkok where it's super hot, coming in with some nice cool AC, the nice smell of the store, the nice fabrics, everything is around you. You also get offered a nice gin and tonic, a vodka, a bourbon or a beer. That adds to the experience. So we make a joke that it's the most expensive cocktail in the world. The clothes are free.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
Yes, sir.
I wanna turn to technology. That experience of having, a tailor, an expert tailor, take your measurements, ensure all the fit's going to be correct, and coming back and
Hmm.
making those precise adjustments.
Hmm.
There is new technology, right, where there's, AI-driven sort of fitting technologies, things that are not so personalized. Let's say it's machines helping out in certain ways or
Hmm.
maybe in the back office, in the supply chain. How are you
Hmm.
using AI or technology in running your business?
So we don't make fabric ourselves. We buy it from directly from the suppliers and the mills around the world. In terms of technology for us, I mean, without technology, we wouldn't be able to do our business, especially with the app that we launched. Uh, Everything is on the iPad. It's in the cloud. So you create a profile, all your fabrics, your buttons, your styles, all your measurements are put within to the system. You come in for a fitting, we're taking photos, uploading it into your profile. You come in for the final fitting, all the photos are taken, videos are taken. That gives us the most content so we can reproduce this suit for you in a different fabric or a different style further down the road. For us, AI, as you were saying, it's a very unique thing because my dad also told me, hey, we got to get into the AI space. We got to introduce this into the business. When it comes to AI, it's the thing that I can bring to us is kind of where you pick a fabric and it superimposes on a body and shows you how it comes out. I would say that would be the limit in terms of the front end. The back end, we can do it where, helping with emails, helping with production issues or streamlining any processes, helping us kind of troubleshoot certain issues. But when it comes to getting a custom bespoke suit, the whole experience of coming in, getting measured, right? It's about putting the hands on the body and kind of seeing all these minor details to kind of adjust to make better. So during COVID, we were shut for 3 months, 2.5 months. During that time, we worked with maybe 5 different AI companies that scan your body on your phone and it measures you, your front, your side, your back, and it kind of spits out 300 different measurements. At the end of the day, we found out that all 5 companies, my body came out 5 different styles or different measurements. So there was no consistency across the board. And when it comes to these 300 measurements that you get, at the end of the day, a good tailor will need 30 to 50 accurate measurements, and that's what they need. You don't need 300 measurements. It's a gimmick at the end of the day, right? For us, it's about getting measured the right way rather than just sending your measurements. So when we do calls with clients who are remote, what we recommend is rather than sending us your measurements, we schedule time to hop on a video call and we actually watch you get measured. And then we can guide the person measuring you whether to go higher or lower, tighter or looser. It allows us to get a feel almost as if you were here in the store. Because if you send us measurements, we don't know how it fits. We don't know who measured you. We don't know how they measured. So we cannot really guarantee the right fit. So AI is a tricky thing because everyone wants to get into the AI space, but the whole personal touch of asking someone with years and years of experience talking about grandpa and dad. For me, I'm just finishing my 10th year. It's all about getting the real life scenario and the real life advice because thing about custom made is one for one, right? No two suits are the same, no two jackets or two shirts are the same. Everything is hand finished, everything is made for you, which means you are the client, you are the wearer, you have to get what you want rather than what we give you, if that makes sense.
Definitely. There is some AI and, social media and some of the more the marketing
Correct.
side that could potentially be
Hmm.
taken advantage of.
Hmm.
But that experience of having a craftsman really take care of you in a really unique way, whether it's
Hmm.
remote, which I think a lot of people think you have to travel across the world to have this experience done. You can actually do it online. I think that's a great point you made.
Correct.
It opens it up definitely to
Yeah.
people in other countries.
Correct. So every morning we have at least one or two calls lined up because that's nighttime in the US. And throughout the day with Europe and Australia, we can do it anytime during the day. So it all started during lockdown when the store was shut. Me and dad went to the store. We packed a big suitcase filled with fabrics. We moved back to home. And then in the living room, we just laid it out almost like you were in the store. And we would schedule video calls with clients. At that point, we offered it from 7 a.m. Bangkok time till 3 a.m. Bangkok time, literally keeping it fully wide open for anywhere around the world to get to get an appointment made. And we would do it at any time that a client wants. Now what we do is since things are back to normal, we do it within store hours just so that we have access to the fabrics to show you during the calls. A lot of times it's difficult to see what the fabric is and the color is, but that again, that's where you rely on us to explain to you what you're getting and what the fabric is, what the colors you're seeing in. Because every camera, every screen shows things differently, whether it be a Samsung or an iPhone, whether it be an iPad, a MacBook, or a desktop. All these cameras make a difference. And also, when you use Zoom, the camera quality is different than when you use WhatsApp or when you use Microsoft Teams. So all of these things come into play. And coming back to the AI part, the reason I don't want to implement AI to the front end as much is because people come back to Rajas because they want to deal with us, right? If we have AI there, it's kind of cutting a corner or trying to make it a little bit easier for us, but the clients will not get the same experience and the same value with what they're used to, you know.
I think that's a good point. I think a lot of times I've been hearing this from various companies and various people I talk to. AI is the buzzword of the moment. Everyone's like, I need AI in my business. But then when you really ask them, okay, what do you need it for? They say, I don't know. So you have to
We
really
just need
look
to
back at
implement
your
it one way or
processes.
another.
Yeah,
Yeah.
look at your processes, look at your customer experience, and really question: is there an add-on there, or is it actually subtracting
Mhm.
from the experience?
Correct.
You're saying, that bespoke tailored experience is a very unique thing. Whether you do it in your trunk shows where you travel to actually go visit the clients in different countries, or they do it remotely or
Hmm.
in person. I think that's very
Hmm.
hard to replicate, especially with your story and who you are and the generations of expertise, the craftsmanship. I wanted to ask you about fast fashion, right? So a lot of people maybe after the pandemic look at suits as like maybe that's old time, like people don't wear them as
Hmm.
much. What are your thoughts in terms of like the more business casual and where things are headed that way? Do you see that changing a lot, impacting your business, or do you think that there's a certain clientele that will always, be looking at the more traditional suit, or do you have other ideas for how the like future CEOs or future leaders would dress?
So it's funny you said that because pre-COVID, people had to wear suits to work because it was a necessity, right? And at that point was you have to wear something conservative, black, blue, gray, something that's everyone has or everyone was wearing at that time. And what we're seeing is post-COVID, a lot of industries have changed, whether it's law or medicine or just corporate in general. We're seeing a lot of industries kind of become more laxed or become more dress casual. And we're seeing a lot of people, rather than dressing up because they need to, they want to dress up. They can showcase their personality with the clothes that they wear. We're seeing a lot more people who never got into bespoke clothing actually get into it now and do things very differently than what was very popular back then. People are ditching the tie. People are going more smart casual jackets, fun shirts, chinos, jeans, slacks, all kinds of stuff. But when it comes to the fast fashion or what was very popular then and versus what is popular now, we're seeing kind of a cycle where men's fashion is going back towards more retro vintage styles from the 30s, 40s, 50s, but with a modern flair today. So one of the biggest thing we're seeing is people are going for, if you see the jacket that I'm wearing right now, the lapels are quite wide, right? They're quite extended. Something that was very popular back then and in the last 10 years, not so much. Everyone started going for very slim, very slim, very slim. For me, I'm not a fan of the slim. I like something that gives you a little bit more credibility, fits into your chest, and kind of amplifies your professionalism, but at the same time adding a little bit a touch of casualness or vintage to your look overall. We are seeing the trend of going more smart casual, so picking colors that may not be as popular back then. So, for example, what I'm wearing right now is a more of a sand beige, a beautiful hopsack pure wool. And how I constructed it is I went unlined on my jacket. So there's absolutely no lining, there's no shoulder pads. So it's literally the lightest thing we make, and it's perfect for Bangkok weather, right? Because it's so hot over here, so the absolute lightest is what I'm wearing. That's which is why I'm wearing it, even though we have a cold front coming into the country right now. We're seeing people go back to high-waisted pants instead of the low waist, adding the pleats and the cuffs onto the pants, which were very popular back then. But now with the modern flair, where you're going instead of more of a full cut on the pleats, going for a slimmer cut and short, where it's minimal break to no break at the bottom. So kind of bringing the old school style back with a modern flair to give you what is very in trend right now. That's something that I see is going to be around for quite some time with changes per se. But in terms of the lapel, for example, the slim width is becoming more and more obsolete overall.
And it's nice to see that you have, you have your pulse on what fashion looks like, traveling around the
Correct.
world, looking different countries, different
Hmm.
personalities. And then your father, obviously, and your grandpa have more experience, maybe more traditional, but they also, keep abreast of what's happening. So
Correct. So
I think you
if
get the best of all worlds there, where
yeah,
you
if
really
you
stay
come
informed.
in and you say, you know what, I like it very classic. I mean, you can talk to grandpa. You come somewhere like, you know what, I want somewhere in between. You talk to dad. You want something super modern. You talk to me. So we have the three generations at the store that can fit almost any need, and any want.
That's excellent. Before we go, I did actually want to ask you about some of the amazing work that you guys do to support the community, adopting
Correct.
school. Can you tell us a little bit
Hmm.
more about that and how people could get involved? You also have a golf charity tournament as well.
Correct. So every year we host a charity golf tournament. It's called the Raja's Fashions Charity Golf Tournament, where we partner with the American Chamber of Commerce of Thailand, and we raise a little over 1 million baht, which is approximately 28 to 30,000 US dollars every year. Um, and with that money, we use that money to donate to build a school building in the northeast of Thailand in a town called Ubon Ratchathani, which is where Rogers was founded and which is where our roots in Thailand started and based. So one thing that grandpa always told me is, you don't want to be ever want to be stingy in life. You don't want to be cheap. You don't want to take advantage of anyone. And the reason we are so privileged and we have what we have today, and the reason we get to live a good life and work with all these people is always giving back to the community. That's one thing that grandpa has instilled in every one of our family members is never forget where you came from. And this year, I may be wrong, but I think we've done a total of 19 or 20 school buildings, individual school buildings. We've done a dozen water tanks, filtration tanks, a few libraries. With that, we also donate equipment to the schools, whether it be sports equipments or backpacks, pencils, everything in between. And we also sponsor scholarships for 3 students every year that takes them through the academic year for that particular year. And this is all done with the help of the American Chamber of Commerce in Thailand. So everything is black and white, everything is transparent. All your money, let's say someone wants to come in and donate some money, rather than play in the tournament itself, you will get a tax deductible receipt from the American Chamber of Commerce. So you know where your money is going. We don't do it ourselves because there's always questions asked. We rather keep everything very transparent and very systematic, right? And that's something that we cherish, we absolutely love. So once we donate the money to the American Chamber, they will go and oversee all the construction with our input. And then on the day of the opening, we get invited to go and kind of celebrate with the community and have a ribbon cutting, and then the kids are dancing for us and putting on performances, and seeing the smile on everyone's faces is just it's something that money can't buy. We don't do this for PR. We don't do this for our benefit. We do it because it's part of who Grandpa is and who we are as a family.
It's a wonderful family. It's a great initiative that you guys are doing to give back to the community. I think Raj obviously built an amazing legacy through 3 generations. You're
Yes,
just the
sir.
latest to pick up the baton and start to bring in innovations and new things. So
Yes,
It's
sir.
great to see how a business can last that long. There's definitely secrets in there that we probably didn't get to today, but I
Yep.
think you touched upon important things about, customer experience, just making it really focused on the customer, being innovative, thinking about the new ideas you bring in, and I think just the passion for what you do and the level of detail and the precision that you focus on when you're dealing with any customer, whether they're remote or in the store there. So thank you so much, Dane, for walking us through that. If somebody wants to get in touch with you or maybe support the charity initiatives that you're working on, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
So they can drop me an email at Dane, Dane, at rajasfashions.com. That's RAJASFASHIONS.com. A lot of people will miss out one of the S's and we never get the email. So you can email me at Dane at Rajas Fashions, visit our website, rajasfashions.com, or you can visit us, drop us a DM on our Instagram, or you can WhatsApp me at my personal number as well.
Well, thank you so much for spending time with me today. I really appreciate it, and
My
look forward
pleasure,
to
Sean.
seeing
Thank you
you
for
on
having me.
my next time I'm getting a suit.
Yes, sir. Look forward to welcoming you back to Rajas and catching up as we always do.
Thanks, Dane. See you
My
soon.
pleasure. Have a good one.
You too.